Hi, and welcome to another AU Connect training video. In this video, we'll be going over how to create and use forms within your organization on AU Connect. As always, we're starting on the home page of AU Connect. I just want to point out two things up here at the top as they relate to this video. We have these three pinned yellow boxes up here, and two of them are actually forms that we want you all to see and be able to access easily. So I'm going to look here at the special allocations form just to give you a quick example. We're going to create a new submission under this form, and it'll show you that this is where you'll be submitting special allocations for the future. It gives you some instructions here at the top and then asks you a number of questions. There are also two spots to upload a file if need be, and another small instruction at the bottom. So that's just the basic kind of outline of this form. But if we go back to our other form here on the home page, the room reservation form, you can see that we can do a number of different things with these forms. Here are our basic questions. Here at the top, there's a bunch of multiple choice questions, and there's also a capability to add photos to these things. If you want to get a little bit more in depth with this training, I request coming to see me, Maggie Weiss, in the Center for Student Involvement, and I can show you how to make things more like this. But for the purpose of this training, we're just going to be going over the very basics of how to create a form in AU Connect. So like we have in the past videos, we're going to go over to our left sidebar and select the organization that we want to create our form under, and then we're going to scroll down to the Forms tab and open that. Here you can see the three forms that we've already created within this organization, and you'll go into this upper right and click on these three dots and click Create Form to start a new form. For the purpose of this video, we'll call this a test form. And there are a couple of things here that we want to take a look at on this first page. The form status currently is disabled, which means until I enable it, nobody will be able to view or even fill out this form other than me or members of my organization that have the capability to edit it. We can also make the forms active from a certain date to a certain date, which is good if you have a time frame that you need the form filled out within. We can also include it in the Explore Forms list, which will put it on our community's public forms list, which you'll see over here in the left sidebar. It's this little page with three dots on it. We can also require a review and approval process on forms, which works really well for things like the special allocations or the room request form that I showed you at the beginning of this video. That means that once the form is submitted, there are people that we have defined as reviewers that will be able to go in and look at the forms and either approve or deny them. You don't have to do this for all forms, but it's very useful in cases like those. We can also choose to allow submissions from public users. That just means that you won't have to log into your AU Connect page to submit a form. This is helpful in cases where we need public opinion. We're working with Alfred State College on something, or maybe the Village. I use this specifically on things for Hot Dog Day, but in most cases you won't need to allow submission from public users. You want people to log into their AU email and submit that way so that you have a name and an email address attached to that submitter. You can also choose to allow multiple submissions. In most cases, I do this, but if you want just single answers from people, I would keep that disabled. In most cases, I also leave this disabled. This is submitter identified reviewers that will allow the person that's submitting the form to say, I want A, B, and C persons to be able to review my form. I haven't found a purpose for that yet, so I leave that disabled most of the time. I'm going to scroll back up here to the top and save the changes that we made, and then it'll bring us to our edit page. So if we wanted to add reviewers to this form, we would do that under the Reviewers tab. We would click this little blue person with the plus mark next to them to add a reviewer. In this case, I'll add myself, and that will just What that does is that it'll send me an email when somebody submits one of these forms so that I can go look at their answers. Next, we're going to go over to the Edit Questions tab. This is where we're going to build our form. So we have a ton of options down here at the bottom. I always like to start with an instructions tab, but a lot of times that's not necessary. It just tells people more about how to fill out the form or what you're looking to get from the form. So we're just going to add some test instructions, and that'll show up as my number 1 on page 1. Next, we can look at single answer questions. So a radio button will allow you to choose one of multiple. So we'll just say choose one as our question text, and then our multiple choice will be A, B, and C. You just have to hit return between each of those characters. And then you'll see that that pops up, that we can choose one of those options as our answer. A checkbox list will allow us to choose multiple from a list. So if we want to do that again, we can choose A, B, C. Let's put D in this one also. And you can choose as many or as few of those as you want to. A text field will allow submitters to answer in short or long format. And we can add multiple rows. That will just expand the field of kind of the text box that they're allowed to answer in. We can also add rankings. We can do a single checkbox that's just agree or deny. You can add a drop-down list if that's helpful, and you can also add an upload file. So we can upload your design here. I do this for the t-shirt contest for Hot Dog Day, and people can upload image files or PDFs or whatever they see fit. We can also go back in and make some of these questions not required. So currently all of the questions are required on this form. If we go into this edit button in the top left of that question, we can just unclick that required button to make that one not required, so people don't have to upload a file if they don't need to for this form. To make this form live, I'm going to go back to my forms page. I'm going to click into my test form, and under the properties, I'm going to enable my form and click save. And then we should be able to find this form here in the forms list on the home page. Test form from AU Connect management team, and when we click start, it'll bring us right to our form here. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, Maggie Weiss, in the Center for Student Involvement. My email is weiss, WEISSM, @alfred.edu. Thanks for watching.